Alright, stop wiggling. There we go. Alright, so, let's see. I think I probably... this isn't how we typically do this, but this will work. I'm tired of messing with the camera. Okay, so landing gear. Again, it's a modular installation. So the gear was bent, applied to the balsa wood support. This is a three-ply sandwich, backboard, middle brace, and the wire would wrap around this brace. So this bend here went around the top of this middle piece of balsa, and then a top piece was put that is the same size as A4. So you had two A4s and one A3, and that created a sandwich with the wire wrapping around the top. And you see there's a bit of a forward cant that was required. That's the configuration of the main landing gear legs. So we had to kind of carefully go about setting that forward cant. Also, this piece didn't quite fit. The slot that was created according to the plan was a bit skinny, but that was not difficult to fix. Just laying the module on top of it and drawing a line along the back edge and just cutting away that strip. About an 1/8 of an inch strip had to be cut off of the back piece of the in the wing. Widen the slot enough to drop that. Also, the ends of it had to be cut. It was a little bit long, so it wasn't a perfect fit, but then I didn't expect it to be. When you're working with balsa as opposed to plastic injection molded kits, a lot of the fitting, quite a bit more of the fitting aspect of the work goes back to the builder, and not so much on who's making the molds or drawing up the plans in this case. So the piece did drop in. It went flush, which is good. I sanded it flush enough to get the belly pan installed. That's these formers here and the stringers. So it called for 3 formers. I doubled up the first 2. The kit provided enough parts. In other words, the way it was engineered onto the sheets with the way the parts were cut meant that there would be doubles of each of these formers. Now, there's no need to double up this one because it butts against the rear fuselage wing bulkhead. But these I doubled them up for extra strength. And then the way you achieve the center line here, though the best way I found is to go ahead and set the middle stringer if one is provided, and in this case there was, and just glue that at either end. And because it's a flexible stringer, all you have to do is slide the bulkhead under it and tilt it up, and you find that's your center line. So that's how that was determined on this airplane. The callouts were for the initial former number 3 to go over the wing spar, the next former to go over the 1/16 stringer that only extends between the center section, and the final one to butt join against the rear of the wing bulkhead. So that brings you up to speed on how the belly pan was installed, the landing gear, and so forth. Right. Oh, and these are the now completed wheel pants. And in the previous video to this one, I show you how I laid these up using balsa wood joiners installed internally to these. And that's in the previous video to this one. So anyway, so now the process will be to infill here, and the way these are curved in this direction and more or less flat So there's not a big bow this way. I don't know how well the camera's picking this up. But there is a radius, an arc this way, so the grain is going to run lengthwise in this direction instead of the direction I have on the wing, because I have to induce a little bit of that bow, and that has to go with the grain going this way instead of this way, I guess. Actually, let me think. The grain has to be running this way so that I can induce that bow and then insert the piece. And anyway, we'll get those installed, and then sanding is going to be a little tricky around the wing, which is already finished, and around the fuselage, which is already finished. We'll just have to do that. I'll just have to do the best I can to stay off of the finished work as much as possible. There'll be a little bit of extra filler going on down here. Also, after this is done and sanded and prepped for paint, we're going to have to do the wing fillet, and that's the fairing that joins the wing to the fuselage, and then it extends back here with a triangular kind of a piece that rounds the wing, blends it this way over, and then back into the fuselage. So this wing had a pretty decent sized fillet on it, nothing like the GBZ or R1, but it does have a pretty serious fillet there. So that'll have to be replicated. And then once all of that is done, then I can start piecing together actually the landing gear legs and get these parts made. I'm not sure. I might be painting this without those installed. They would be fitted and able to slip over the wire. And I'm thinking if I can get away with that, I can paint the airplane, and then I can paint these red and paint the landing gears fairings red and white. Then I can slide these on to the posts and glue them up with white glue, and then attach these onto their attachment point. Again, once everything is completely properly fitted, I can probably get away with that. I'm hoping I can, because trying to paint everything with those installed on here would be a serious challenge. So I'm hoping I can do the ship in the bottle thing and work my way around that a different way. But at any rate, the airplane is coming along. We've got the basic landing gear element installed, the basic element of the landing gear installed, and we have the belly pan roughed up, the skeleton of it anyway, installed. So now it just comes down to the infill here, and then the wing fillet and fairing, and then the landing gear, and major assembly at that point will be complete, and all of the major construction of the airplane will be done. It'll be down to paint and final assembly. So we are getting close. We're getting close. All right, thanks for watching. Everybody have a good day.